All right, this is Pre-Algebra lesson 7.7. Transforming formulas. Here's the deal. Transforming formulas is probably the easiest thing we're going to do here, all chapter. It can look very, very ugly. Let me give you a simple one here. In fact, this is one that we'll be dealing with tomorrow. Interest equals principal times rate times time. We're going to be dealing with that formula tomorrow. But here's the thing about it. When you have a formula, you use the formula when you have all the information except for one of the pieces, right? If I know the principal, the rate, and the time, then that will tell me, I can plug that in, and it will tell me the interest. Okay? If I know the interest, and I also know the principal, and I know the time, I could figure out the rate. Okay. If I know the interest, the time, and the rate, I can figure out the principal. Does that make sense? If you know all in a formula, if you know all the variables except for one, that's what a formula is for. You plug everything in, and that will tell you what that thing is. Here's what we do. You have to be able to transform this formula into a new formula that you need. For example, if I had the interest, I had the principal, and I had the rate, and I wanted to know how long I kept that money in the bank, if I wanted to know the time, I need to solve this thing for time, right? I need this to say t equals something. Does that make sense? Because I'm solving for the time. If I know the principal, the rate, and the interest, I need to know what the time is. I need it to say time equals something. So this is what you do. We're going to now solve this for what we need. If we're solving it for the time, I need to solve for the t. It means that t is the one that wants to be alone. Okay? So let's pretend that we want to get t alone, that t is the variable. What do? Line. Down the equal sign. Is the t happy? No. Why not?
Because it has p and r.
Because he's got p and r there. What's the p and r doing to the t? Multiplying. How do I get rid of multiply by pr? Divide by pr. Divide by pr. These PRs are gone. That leaves me with t equals, it's just I over PR. It's that simple. You just shove everything else that you don't want to the other side. Whatever you don't want, you mathematically, legally, algebraically shove it to the other side, and you're done. Is t happy now? Yes, we're done. This is the new formula for what we need. If I knew interest, principal, and rate, and there it is. T equals interest times P times R. Interest over P times R.
That's the answer?
That would be that is the new formula. You would plug in interest, principal, and rate, and then that would tell you whatever that came out to equals the time. Right? Okay, what if I did this? Here's another one. Perimeter equals 2L plus 2W. And so think about this. If I have the perimeter of a rectangle here, let's just, here's my rectangle. And what's perimeter mean again?
The outside.
Adding up the outside edge, right? If I had a certain amount of fence I wanted to put up, and I said, okay, how much fence do I need to put around this yard? I need to know the perimeter of the yard. So if I did this, if this was 10 and this was 5, right, 10 feet we'll say, and this is 5 feet, how would I figure this out? I mean, one thing you always do is just add 10 plus 5 plus 10 plus 5. But what's another way of doing this? Is this formula right here. The perimeter is 2 times the length, right, plus 2 times the width. Does that make sense? That's another way of doing this. Okay, so here's the deal with this little formula. If I knew the perimeter, was 30, and I knew the length was 10, and I said, well, then what's the width? How would you set this up? What would you do? Well, here's the deal. So if I'm solving this, and in your book will do this. Your book actually goes like this. Your book has one of the things in red. and they'll say, solve for the variable in red. Make sense? They want you to solve for the variable in red. All right? So, what do? What's the first thing that I do here? Line. Okay? Then I'm solving for W. So I got to get remember, legally and algebraically, I got to shove everything. Who's with the W?
2 and 2L.
2L and 2. Which one do I get rid of first? The 2L. I've got to get rid of the adding and the subtracting, right? I'm going to go minus 2L minus 2L. Let's rewrite that. So I'm going to rewrite this and go, okay, they're gone. That leaves me with P minus 2L equals 2W. Agreed? Okay, now what?
Now you
Divide by 2, divide by 2. They're gone. Guess what that leaves me with? W equals P minus 2L divided by 2. I'm done. You literally just shove everything. Everything out. Right? You're kicking everybody else out of the house. And really, that's all you're doing when you solve for, x or whatever, when you're doing any equation. Aren't you just really legally shoving everybody out of the house? I'm a hermit, get out to the other side. The only difference is that you don't have to clean this up. There's nothing to clean up here, right? You just shove it out and you're done. Yeah.
There's the P on the outside, or is it up on top?
The P's on top, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, my bad. Okay. So you guys try one. Let's do a good one here. I have this. Here's the formula. Y equals x over 3 plus 8. And I want you to, I'm going to have you solve for the black variable, which is, okay, you're solving for x. Here's the deal. Okay, so I'm solving for the variable for x, right? That means that everybody, all x is going to do is legally kick him out, kick everybody out. What is the first thing I do? Line, right? Now what? You look, is the variable happy? No, there's a 3 there and an 8. The 8 is adding to him. The 3 is dividing him. Which one do I get rid of first? What's the rule?
Backwards order of
Reverse order of operations, right? You do adding and subtracting first, right? Reverse order of operations. Minus 8. Rewrite it at this point. You really need to rewrite it at this point because you don't want to get all, Okay, that's gone. So I have y minus 8 equals x over 3. Now what?
Now you multiply by 3.
Multiply by 3. Note, this is very important. I'm multiplying. No, when I do this, I'm multiplying this whole side by 3. Agreed? The whole side times 3. I have to multiply this whole side by 3. Right? Now that's gone. That leaves me with x equals, I have to rainbow here, people, 3y minus 24. Now here's the deal. If you had left it like this, which I bet you forgot to put the parentheses, if you had left it 3 times y minus 8 equals x, that would work too, but it has to be in parentheses. Does that make sense? Because you're multiplying everything on the side, right, by 3. That's an important step, okay? Okay, what about this one then? This is going to be a mean one. No, it's not too bad. All right. 5a plus 7 equals b. And you're solving for a. Let me get that thing in red. Okay, solving for a. So this one, line, solving for a, so minus 7. Rewrite it. 5a equals b minus 7. Divide by 5, a equals that, right? Agree? If you'd wanted to, you can do that, and eventually you'll have to get used to this. You would do the distributive property here, which b over 5, how can I rewrite that with a multiplication instead of division?
Wait, 5b.
B divided by 5 can also be written as multiplication. Remember, division is just multiplication. So if b over 5 is the same thing as what? B times 1/5, right? So 1/5 b. Same thing. Agreed? Because isn't this over 1, right? So 1 times b is b, 5 times, right? So you have to see this. B over 5 is the same thing as 1/5 b. Because times over 1, what is 1 times b? B. What is 5 times 1? 5. Same thing, right? Right? Division is the same as multiplication. Anyway, but that works. How many of you got that? B minus 7 over 5? Okay. Your homework. It's weird, so get ready to write all this down. It's page 380 to 381. I'm adding a few things. 3 through 8, even, plus 11 through 13, all, plus 17 through 19, all. Okay, that's what, plus, no, that'll be good. So write it all down.